Hello everyone, JID123 here, and I've just had this topic on my mind for a while, so I thought I'd share with you people, if you're listening. The topic is simplicity, or at least more simplicity in storytelling. So, one thing people will probably realize about me as we do more podcasts and stuff, I have a big soft spot for simplicity in stories. Maybe that's not the right word, but that is to say, I really like stories that are very simple and just have a certain charm to them. Now, that does not mean I'm against anything that's complex, and that does not mean I'm the kind of person who likes to turn off his brain when he watches a movie. To be fair, I can, but that's different. That's a different story because I feel like people tend to equate simplicity with stupidity, and I don't think that's fair. At least to me. I think people think that. Like, okay, here's an example. Michael Bay films, those Transformers films. That's stupidity. Why? Because there is nothing to them. It's just robots fighting each other, blowing themselves up. Um, I'll take a let me use a better example. Though this is probably like a big jump from Michael Bay films, but one of my favorite comics that I have with me, at least the ones I own, I don't own many, but I have them with me, is probably Batman Killing Joke. Like, it's another one of my favorites. And I know, everybody goes to that one. I'm sure there are better comics out there than Killing Joke, and I just started that fire. Oh well. But one of the things I like about Killing Joke is that it's a simple story, which is ironic because that's why Alan Moore didn't like it, but that's another story. I There's something about its simplistic nature, just its simple storytelling, that I find just really good, and it's easy to follow for me. I'll use a better example for me. I really like the Thrawn trilogy, Heir of the Empire, Dark Horse Rising, Last Command. Again, because I feel those books have a very simplistic story, or not a simplistic story. That's a very simple, easy to follow story. I feel like using the word simplistic kind of diminishes it because I feel like, oh, simplistic, that means they didn't put any effort into it. Or, no, 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 no. You need to have good characters and good themes and all that good stuff. But I feel like you can do it all in a simple story. And I know that I'm going to probably get into trouble when I bring up things like Batman Begins and Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. Well, let's keep Rises out of it. Let's go to just Batman Begins and Dark Knight. I would say they're complex. They're complex and smart and easy to follow, but they're all full of stuff and things that I did not think well out because I just decided to make this video right now, and probably needed somebody else to be more analytical with me about this stuff. But they are complex movies. I'll give them that, and I am not poo pooing complexity. Complexity is good. Makes us think. Makes us wonder. It's all that good stuff, and people like it for the most part. There's also the complexity for the sake of complexities. There's complexity for complexity's sake, and that's not good. There's also simplicity for simplicity's sake, and that's not good either. Star Wars itself, especially the original trilogy, have a very simple story if you think about it. But I won't get into that too much. But I've always just been a fan of clean and simple. I think the first Kingdom Hearts game, which is I've talked about this before, is stronger than its successors because it's very simple. It keeps everything in a very simple, easy to follow, A through C story. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be unoriginal. That doesn't mean you have to be cookie cutter. That doesn't mean you have to be cliche. When I say you're being simple, you can have an original, simple story. Not every simple story, obviously, is something I like. I guess it really depends on the genre itself. Um, I think that's another reason why I like a book like New Republic Bloodline as well. I feel like that has a very easy to follow story, which I can keep up with. Not that I don't mind the more complex stories. I do. I like them. I just always been more of a fan of uh, simplistic stories or simple stories. Um, I feel like a lot of the Marvel movies, especially Phase One, have that to a degree, and that doesn't make them bad films. Well, except for Iron Man 2 had its own problems. Iron Man 1, that's really good. It's simple, easy to follow. I like the first Captain America film a lot. That's actually my favorite Marvel movie, I think, to date. Although that's because of also, like, the time era and the World War II aesthetic and just, the adventure feel, but that's just very subjective at that point. Um, that's just me being me. I know Winter Soldier and Civil War are better films. Um, Avengers, I think, is a very simple film. Although I like Age of Ultron more, strangely. But maybe that's just because of I like the setup and how everything just kind of happens. Um, and that doesn't mean a simple film can't have a deep meaning or a theme. I think people tend to equate, oh, it's simple, so it's about nothing. No, I think when I say a simple film, I like mean more plot structure than actual themes and character. Like, it's a very simple film in that it has an easy to follow plot. I think that's where I come down on it mostly. It's an easy to follow plot. Killing Joke can have a lot to it, and I know if you go watch Captain Logan and Steve Backseat's discussion, they got a lot of stuff out of it. But again, it's a very simple plot. It's very Joker does this, then he does this, Batman stops him. They have a conversation. That's it. Sorry. There aren't a lot of twists and turns and ooh my goodness, look at that. Like I think that's the best part where I come down onto it. Um, where it's more plot simplicity than things like character and theme simplicity. I don't think that's what I'm getting at. I think that's where you enter what I call stupidity instead of simplicity, when you're trying to dumb down your characters and your themes to where they're non-existent. I think that's a big difference between actual plot. I prefer plot simplicity and cohesiveness, but everybody prefers cohesiveness over um, character and theme. And I think ultimately I have a soft spot more for a simple plot than an action. And I'm perfectly okay with complex plots as long as they're done right. Because I feel like the people nowadays tend to make plots complex for the complexity's sake, have all these twists and turns when you don't really need them. You can just be straight and to the point with it. But that's getting off topic. So yeah, this is my little whole spiel on just my love of simple stories. Um, Again, not against complex stories. Not not saying movies shouldn't make you think, or you shouldn't have to not think. You should, you know, you know. I'm just saying. I mean, to be fair, I like Independence Day and the Rush Hour movies and all that stuff. So I'm totally down for like schlock for fun. But that's another story for another day. But I'm just saying, I've always had a soft spot for very simple natured stories, and I just will always prefer those over other things. Uh, I hope I made sense to you people when I was talking about this. Don't want to bring anybody down. Not saying any movie that I brought up are bad or good or anything. Oh, just putting it out there, just putting my thoughts, and yeah, that's it. Okay, bye.